Todd Gay of Landscaping Unlimited in Newtown is able to see a lot of the damage that was left behind this winter.
You know, all the snow's melted now, and we're seeing definitely a lot of the damages. And you know, this is, for example, this the Shasta daisy here. It's all kind of mashed down, and a lot of dead branches on it are being buried under the winter. A lot of mold. So, but you look back down in the middle of it, and you can see a lot of buds coming up. So it's definitely still alive. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off some of these dead branches right down to some green buds, and then the plant's just going to kind of rejuvenate itself right from where I made those cuts. Okay, so right down, you got a dead branch, right down to where you see your next green bud. That's where you make your cut, and that's where the plant is going to start growing. Just pick up all your trimmings and get them away from your plant. This roof was shoveled this winter, and you can see here that a lot of these branches just cracked from the weight of the snow. Unfortunately, these branches are a little brittle and they are not coming back. So what we're going to have to do is just cut them off. It's better to have a nice clean cut, okay? We don't want to leave a break like this. It's going to be very hard for the plant to heal with jagged edges like that. So what I'm going to do in this case, we got two branches. We got one live branch here. We're going to cut it down to the next nearest live branch, and we have a nice clean cut here that will heal, and this branch here will fill in this area. So here we have a blue made holly, okay? And we have a nice branch taken out of this, again, from the weight of the snow. All right, so I'm going to prune that right off. The hollies are pretty hardy, so this is definitely will fill back in. I'm going to keep the top sheared off this year, try to keep the plant from growing too much. So here we have a kind of a specimen boulevard cypress. There's one on either side of the front porch. We're showing a lot of the inner seasonal dead wood in here. This plant was nice and full. It was very upright this fall, and because of the weight of the snow, all the branches have been pushed down, exposing a lot of this inner brown needles. We also lost a big leader stem on the back side of it, which leaves me a big hole. So this plant here, I'm actually considering maybe moving from this location. It's a very prominent location. Plant's not looking like a real specimen item at this point. So this is one that I would actually consider maybe moving to a new location on the property, and maybe not such a prominent location. One option would be to fertilize these with some hollytone and try to encourage some new growth. So in the next season or two of growing, they will come back and look like specimens again. This is a very windy location, and the plant just got burned a little bit. So some of the leaves are a little brown. Not much we can do with this right now. The only thing we could do is fertilize it. And then what's going to happen in a couple weeks is these buds right here on the tips are going to pop open, okay, and put nice new leaves on the top. And some of this brown leaves here will be covered up, and after a couple growing seasons, we don't really have to worry about this one.
Todd Gay from Landscaping Unlimited is replacing these hollies today with a sturdier boxwood for this homeowner.
First thing I want to do is remove the mulch from around the base of the plant, okay, which we're not going to be remulching right away, so if I save the mulch, I could spread it around the new plant when I'm done. It looks a little bit more professional. Second thing I like to do is tie the plant up so I don't damage it with the shovel while I'm doing my excavating. So we're going to just tie the rope around one of these stems. What we're going to do is just kind of lift up the branches, tuck them up here, and get that rope wrapped right around it. That way we'll have some room to dig. And we just tie off the rope on another branch. And I could get into the roots a little bit easier with the shovel. Today I'll be using a spade, you know, square shovel. It's got a little bit of ridges on it that will cut the roots if they're a little bit heavier. But this is what we like to use when we're transplanting shrubs. Now typically what we want to do is go around the drip line of the shrub, and we start digging right around where the drip line was of the plant. And that's about where most of the roots will be. What I want to do is always dig away from the plant, as to not disturb the roots on the inside. So we're going to dig towards the outside of the plant, so we keep those roots preserved. Of course, before you start digging, you want to check out for dog fence or low voltage landscape lighting, or anything that could be buried in this area. So I like to, once I get all the way around and I have a trench dug, I like to kind of take away some of the extra weight of the excess dirt and try to get down to where you could actually see some of the fibrous roots coming out. And we try to get under the plant with the spade and gently lift up on it until it's loosened. Now we have a nice root ball ready to be planted in a new location. Okay. First thing I like to do when I plant is just to get an idea of the depth of the root ball. Okay, so here I have about the depth of my shovel. Okay, when I check it with this Varder Valley boxwood, you know, we're the same size. So actually the hole is perfect. Okay. Now normally I would put in some like roots fertilizer to stimulate a little bit of root growth, but still a little early in the season. Okay, the next thing I want to do with this plant is right now the burlap is right up around the root ball. Okay, I don't really want to take the burlap off, but we definitely want to cut the rope. Okay, so what we're going to do is cut the rope off the top of the burlap, and once I do the planting, I'm going to unfold the burlap and lay it on top of the soil, just so the water and air can get into the root system. Take out some of the rocks and just backfill this plant. Okay, so here I have my plant. I backfilled it loosely, okay, with my shovel. So what I want to do is just kind of lift up. Just want to make sure that we're backfilled right up to the top of the root ball, and the root ball is just maybe just a little bit, maybe like 2 inches above the soil level. You don't want to plant it too deep. The next thing I do is I just lightly pack the soil around to remove the air from around the root system. And then that burlap that I cut earlier, just want to lay that down. It's biodegradable. It'll be gone in probably within a month. It's important not to have any dirt on top of our root ball that came with the plant. Okay, you don't want any dirt on top. You just want to have that exposed at the surface. Maybe a light coating of mulch and that's it. But you really want to have that root ball exposed. Our holly we're going to plant in the backyard in a less prominent location, and hopefully in a few seasons it'll look as good as these ones.